This is SportsCenter with Elle Duncan and Kevin Nagandi.
Welcome to SportsCenter. Plenty of reaction to an NBA playoff weekend that featured plenty of surprises, including the fallout in Philly with the Sixers.
Hey, Kev.
Hi, Elle.
And what happened in our nation's capital today that could change the college sports landscape forever? But first, our Euro 2020 coverage continues with Sebastian Salazar. So much, Sebastian. Fitting that we're coming out of soccer coverage, considering Kevin came to work kicking and screaming today. We'll have much more on the meltdown that happened in Philadelphia just ahead, Kev.
Fun 2 hours in front of us. Ahead, Jeff Passan joining us to discuss Major League Baseball's sticky situation as umpires enforce a new rule on pitchers. We begin with our headlines featuring baseball.
So a little bit of a turnaround from Doc last night when he was very non-committal about whether he could win a championship with Ben Simmons there, as we say hello to our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Of course, now here comes the questions about Ben Simmons' future in Philly. Woj, what are you hearing?
Elle, I think that the challenge for the Sixers
literally just, 8 days ago, talking about he had changed really the face of this series with how he was guarding Trae Young. So you certainly don't want to make an emotional decision for someone who brings that kind of defensive prowess. I do want to talk about, we had no Monty update today, Woj, and we're just over 24 hours away from Game 2. What more can you tell us about when we could see P3 on the floor?
Elle, I'm told that there's still
uncertainty. This team, which is why they FaceTimed him as soon as they got that one. Our Basketball Power Index says if Chris Paul is listed as active for Game 2, well, the Suns' chance of winning the series, 72%. Adrian Wojnarowski with the latest around the NBA. Thanks, Woj. In his 5-year run, Dak Prescott has dazzled, puzzled, sparked plenty of sports talk debate, and secured the bag. All that's left is literally everything else, because in Jerry's world, the pursuit of happiness is singularly focused. And as Laura Rutledge explains, coming off a broken ankle with expectations to take a huge step forward, Dak is going to need a little help from his line brothers. I love it. Thank you so much to Laura Rutledge for bringing us that. Our front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum, is joining us now. Let's keep the conversation going about the Cowboys. Dak telling our Cowboys reporter, Todd Archer, that his offensive linemen, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, La'el Collins, are the 3 most important players on the roster, and your dog agrees, I think. He seconds that emotion. Mike, what are your expectations for Dak and their offense if they can stay healthy?
They're massive, Elle. We're talking about a top 5 offense in the NFL.
Numbers would tell you that the O-line has seen better days, but those 3 dudes specifically that he name-checked mixed significant time with injury last season alone. Biggest storyline, I would say now, between now and training camp anyway, is, of course, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and whether he's going to show up. Mike, when you think about their current situation, what's the significance of Green Bay not fining him for deciding not to show? I heard from some people maybe a contract extension, right, could potentially help that situation a little bit, which is funny because, well, there's quite a few guys that are staring down some contract extensions to end up getting paid. It's just a matter of when. But Darnold and Mayfield, tougher to gauge so far. So, Mike, why are you waiting to give Baker a contract extension?
And we're going to take it 1 year at a time.
Yeah, we always say that on paper the Browns have the steepest and best roster in the NFL. That means you got to pay the money. Mike Tannenbaum joining us here to break down a little bit of everything from the NFL. Thanks, Mike T. Good Monday evening. We are feeling good here for another hour with you on SportsCenter. Do we have a processing error? Adrian Wojnarowski will update us on the Sixers' plan for Ben Simmons after they were eliminated from the playoffs by the Hawks last night. I'm loving this way too much.
Well, you really read that. Like, you really got into that hi hello. It's already happening. Umpires are now checking pitchers for sticky stuff in games, and Jeff Passan is here live to explain to us that process. But we begin with our headlines and a Kawhi Leonard update getting you ready for.
So, Woj, no update from Monty today, and we stand just over 24 hours away from Game 2. When could we expect to see CP3 back? Booker heroics aside, nobody thinks that the Suns are better with CP3 on the sideline. Woj with the very latest around the NBA. Coming up here on SportsCenter, we'll bring you a significant story, a trailblazing story, if you will, as Carl Nassib of the Las Vegas Raiders announces he is the first active NFL player to say that he is gay. We will have his announcement, the reaction to the announcement, and much more coming up. Very personal matter public today, announcing on his Instagram just a bit ago that he is gay, making him the first active NFL player to announce he's gay. Nassib, who's played for the Browns, Bucks, and Raiders in his 5-year NFL career, says he hopes to help cultivate a culture of acceptance by making this announcement. Speaking of which, here is an excerpt of Nassib's statement posted to his Instagram today. Wow, fantastic, Carl. To note there have been a number of players who have come out after their careers came to an end. Also, you'll probably remember defensive end Michael Sam, right? Well, he was the first openly gay player that was drafted into the NFL by the Rams back in 2014. He never played in an NFL regular season game. To get a little bit more perspective. It's so interesting because we talk a lot, especially on ESPN, especially being females in a male-dominated industry, about being a member of a marginalized community and visibility and representation, which are things that Carl just hit on. Outside of just the people, the kids that he'll inspire at home that want to be athletes but never have seen themselves in a locker room, how do you think that he's going to inspire potentially other NFL players and pro athletes to come out publicly while they are still competing? Again, this is breaking news today. He mentioned that hopefully one day it will not be breaking news, that this will not be a big deal. But again, it stands as such that today, Carl Nassib becomes the first active NFL player to announce that he is gay. Mina Kimes joining us here, just offering us a little perspective on this groundbreaking news that we've heard today. Thanks, Mina. Speaking of which, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth.
Yes,
You're a Sixers fan. I'm a Hawks fan. The last couple of weeks have been great. Thank you. They've been very fun, but it is over. So as a peace treaty, Ant, I wanted to bring something out to celebrate what I thought was a fantastic Sixers season. It is a cupcake. It is, of course, a red velvet cupcake. And I do have to ask you, does it hurt worse that your season was ended by another Kevin?
No, not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Well, then honestly, Kevin, then this probably will.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Kevin Nagandi, from one Kevin to another, I just wanted to wish you well on your upcoming trip to Cancun, courtesy of the Atlanta Hawks.
That's just cold.
1, 2, 3,
That is just
Cancun!
cold. You know,
Let's go.
I give you a ton of credit. You want to know why? Because you guys were just more hungry than Philly, right?
Okay.
Kind of reminded me of a team that won the Super Bowl, the Hungry Dogs.
Okay.
And that team could at least finish out the Patriots when they played them on the field.
See this?
So
this is what they do.
That's what happens
They shift
in
and deflect
Philadelphia.
to a totally different sport. Nonetheless, you can watch us maybe get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals. Enjoy. Thanks, Kevin Herter. College World Series is next.
All right, now that I've had time to process it, I suppose my thoughts are just... What are we analyzing here? If you're scared to shoot the ball, then just...
Yeah, I mean, it was a good win, but...
Okay, let me stop being petty. I'm for real. If you love your team, if you're a real, true, die-hard Sixers fan, stand up. Now, and let this be a warning for you Bucks fans and Clippers fans and Suns fans too. I got smoke for all y'all. Y'all can all.
Hold sit